Hi guys, my name's Ian and I'm going to be going over a couple things that you think about taking with you if you're going to go wild camping. So the first thing you're going to need is a rucksack to carry it all in. So here I've got an Osprey rucksack. It's a 77 litre one, which is a decent size. It will fit all this stuff laid out in front of me in it quite easily. And it's got a stiff wire back, so it's incredibly comfortable, but it's also lightweight because it's an aluminium frame. So aside from that, what do you need when you're out there? So the first thing I always think about is shelter. What am I going to use for shelter? And I've decided, because I'm going somewhere that's heavily forested, I'm going to take a hammock and tarpaulin. So the tarpaulin is just a simple lightweight one, about 3 meters by 3 meters, wrapped up in guy lines. You can put it in a dry bag as well, and that means if it gets wet when you're using it, you can put it in your dry bag, back in your rucksack, and nothing else gets wet. So this I'm going to put at the very top of my rucksack, because I want this to be the first thing I take out when I set up camp. Once I got this up, I got somewhere dry I can work under. Aside from that, and some extra guy ropes I've got for it. The hammock, it's just a standard hammock, it's quite large. I've gone for the parachute material hammock. It's very breathable and it stops a lot of moisture and condensation forming on the inside, which is important. It's got some hooks here and I'll hook it up to some tree huggers. Some people call them tree huggers or straps. These just mean that you can attach your hammock to the tree and put your weight in it and it's not going to cut into the bark or damage it in any way. These are quite important, I'd say. Aside from that, just some extra paracord, which is useful for if I want to build a bench or something to sit on when I go to the toilet, you know, anything like that. Sleeping bag, I'm going to take a 4-season. You don't have to this time of year. I just like to play it safe, and if it gets too hot I can open it up. And aside from that, a breathable bivy bag that just means that it's going to stay dry even if my tarpaulin fails. Everything else goes to hell. I've at least got this I can sleep in. Moving on to tools now. What sort of tools would you like to take? Well, most importantly I'd say you have to take a knife. With this knife I've also made a little striker light that I can stick in it so I can start a fire if I have to. And something to sharpen it with. This is a landscape sharpener. It's not the best one, but it does the job. Also an axe. This isn't a very big axe, but I'm just going to use this to clear the twigs and stuff off branches or limbs or logs or anything. For the heavy duty cutting, I'm going to take a folding saw. These are incredibly useful. Lightweight, compact, sharp, gets the job done. This one has a little safety catch, so if you're not paying attention, you're still not going to cut yourself when you shut it. Head torch, very, very important. As it gets dark, you're going to want this, and some spare batteries. I'm going to be gone for about a week. I don't want to run out of batteries and then have to rely on a fire to find my way around. First aid kit, very important, especially if you're trying to be self-sufficient. Where I'm going will be a temperate rainforest, which means there's a lot of fungal growths and stuff. If I get a cut, I don't want to get infected. A trowel for digging a loo with. And a waterproof. Now this is a big poncho that goes over not just myself, but it's designed so it fits over a large rucksack as well. So very useful, especially in Scotland. And finally, for tools that I'll have out with me, a map and compass of the area. Moving on to food and water. So, in terms of food, I've got here a ration pack. I've taken out some of the stuff I don't want and put some extra stuff in that I do. So I've got some boiled sweets that'll just keep me going throughout the day. It comes with alcohol-free antibacterial wipes. And then inside I've got cereal bars, I've got boil in the bag, foods. It's really useful and it's all very compact. Aside from that, for water, I'll be taking some water purification tablets. These are pretty important, depending on where you go. So a lot of places in Scotland you can drink straight from some of the smaller streams, but I'd rather not risk it. So you put in a chlorine tablet and you boil your water as well, and you're pretty much guaranteed safe to drink as long as there's no bits in it, which there shouldn't be. Something to boil the water in. I've got a little Primus metal can. It's made of aluminium, it's incredibly light, it's really, really useful. You can make stews and stuff in here. It's got a handle and the top bit also acts as a wee frying pan, which is pretty useful. Aside from that, mess tins. These are good for cooking the boil in the bag food in. One in the other, and inside this I've got Spork, and a little stove with hexamine tablets inside. So I don't have to make a fire, because fires can be quite destructive and you usually need permission of the landowner, depending on where you're going. I'll be near the coast, so on the coast I might have some fires if I want to collect mussels or anything and cook them, or just keep warm. But really for most of the cooking I will be using this, and it also means I have less weight to carry back because there's little blocks of hexamine here, which is a fuel essentially. So that pretty much covers food and drink. I will also be looking for stuff to eat out there, things like nettles, dandelions you can make stew with, seafood, crabs, things like that. And it's just good to have a look around. I like the challenge of having to go out and find some of my own food. Clothing. So in clothing you're going to need to want to keep warm, waterproof, you want to keep it all dry, and most importantly in Scotland you're going to want this. It's a Midgie net, okay? Mosquito nets don't really do the job. You want a Midgie net. Midgies can fly through mosquito netting like it's not even there. So that's quite important. I'll also be taking some Smidge, Midgie repellent, which also works against horseflies and ticks and stuff, so very useful again. In terms of clothing, I'm going to go generally quite dark and sort of camouflage with the clothing, because I'm going to be doing a lot of spotting for wild animals, going to go out looking for them. I don't want them to see me first, so I'm going to wear something nice and dark, nice and camouflaged. Apart from these are my favourite swimming shorts. I'm going to take those because I want to swim the loch. I can wash myself in these and stuff. In terms of underwear, you want a new set of underwear every day. You don't really want to be walking around, hiking around in stinky underwear, it's not great. As well as socks. Different pair of socks for each day, it's really worth it. I really like these sealskin waterproof socks. I use these in the jungle in Honduras. They work a treat, they keep your feet dry no matter where you go. I also take just a normal pair of hiking socks because they're slightly more breathable and a bit lighter in case the weather does heat up. I'm also going to take an undershirt. It's just a little Under Armour undershirt. It wicks sweat away from your body, it doesn't get you too hot or too cold, it's really useful for that. Again, dark green shirt, dark fleece, and then I've got two fleeces actually. I've got a lightweight one, and then this is a much heavier weight one in case the weather does turn. I just want to be prepared for that. So toiletries. I'm going to take just a small bag with some toothpaste, a toothbrush, and some all-purpose travel soap. It's not only a shower gel and shampoo, you can actually also use it to wash your mess tins, you can wash your clothes with it. Magic. I'm also going to take a small lightweight microfiber towel in lovely pink colour. This thing's great, it's super lightweight, it dries fast, it's really something that you want to take with you. On top of that, just other things that I recommend. A survival bag is bright orange, so if the worst comes to the worst, you can put this on, you'll be easy as spots if you're waiting for help or anything. It's also waterproof, you can put your rucksack in it when you're hammocking and it keeps it dry. Really useful to have. And finally, some binoculars. I want to be looking out for wildlife when I'm there. It's just a wee pair that doesn't really have to be too expensive or too big. In fact, I'd say you want them small because they're easier to carry. It's just less weight overall. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be taking when I'm wild camping or rough camping. Obviously it would vary on area to area. If I was going somewhere much more arid and dry and warm, I wouldn't bother with the heavy fleece. I'd definitely take a different sleeping bag. If I'm going somewhere much colder, you know, I'd be looking at more insulation. I probably wouldn't have a hammock. I'd much rather take a tent or something, or I'd build a quinsy if there's a lot of snow, or some sort of shelter in the snow, because it's quite a good insulant. I focus more on waterproofs. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed, hope you thought it was informative. Leave a like or a comment if you think I missed anything or there's something you'd like to add. I'd love to hear your feedback. And apart from that, that's me done. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you later.